Good morning, everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green yesterday. This is AMC, was getting a lot of attention, had a really nice push up, actually got outside of the Bollinger Bands. So yesterday, the last 2 days, it's pulled back. As long as we hold this 200, let this 9 catch up, I'm still fairly bullish on it. This is, to me, just day trade only there. So our put to call, we are still in the neutral zone right here at 95, right on the edge. The oscillators for the NASDAQ cooled off considerably, come down to 117. And the New York Stock Exchange down to 89, cooled off considerably. That's a good sign. The US dollar looks like to me it wants to trade sideways for a little while, right in between these two moving averages, the 9 and 20. Remember, we want the dollar to come down for the market to go up. The VIX bear flagging right into the 9 here. This is worth watching. If the market pushes today, the VIX is liable to pull back. UVXY calls would be a good way to play that. You can see we chopped around yesterday, stayed under the 200. We tried to gap up, and then we pretty much just chopped sideways. That 200 is the resistance area there. Crude bear flagging into the 9 here. Crude's actually down a little bit this morning. Our trend chart for the SPY, everything's still the same. You can see our medium-term trend, or our short-term trend, is fading from bullish, so up. This is bullish, this is bearish, and we got out of the bearish zone into the bullish zone, but we are fading quick. The medium-term trend is still bullish for now. Apple doing exactly what we were expecting. Pushed up into the resistance area, pulled back to the 9, tried to break out here, giving us a false breakout. I really don't like to see false breakouts, and was pulled back down under the resistance level. But this is actually exactly what we were expecting. So now we're sitting on the 9. Apple had a pretty good day yesterday. It was one of the hotter stocks in the market, as in tech. If we lose this 9, I would not be surprised to see a pullback to the 20, but this is a good place to really start watching it to see if we get a push off that 9. Just have a very heavy resistance level that needs to be taken out. AMD pulled back and lost a 9. Watch the 20 here. Tech or semis are getting beat up with all these bad earnings and guiding down. Actually, the pre-guiding is what they're doing. It's not earnings. So NVIDIA pre-guided down. MU, Micron guided down again yesterday. After a considerable, after a bad earnings, they had already guided down 40% coming into the next earnings, and then they come out yesterday and said they probably couldn't even meet those numbers. So it's really hard on semis here. So we lost a 9. If we continue to pull back, see if we can get some support at the 20. If we hold at the 20, we're still good. Affirm's been on a tear lately. You can see we pushed up, pulled back, pushed up. See if we can pull back to this 9. That's where I would like to see a lot of these stocks to reconnect with the 9. See if we can get some buy the 9 strategies. Affirm, you can see pulled back yesterday on the 15. Amazon, pretty choppy yesterday. Yesterday was a tough day in the market overall. We found some stuff to trade. Energy was nice. There was definitely some trades out there. More importantly, just being patient, waiting for the proper setups. AMC 15-minute chart. You can see where we pull back, and after hours we pull back again. But in pre-market, we have pushed back up this morning. So let's see where they go today. Getting a little attention already. AMD 15-minute chart, you can see the ugliness here. This worked right to some levels yesterday in the daily levels video. Amazon, we're right back to the 9. This is actually where I'd like to see it if we can hold today. If these CPI numbers come out good today, and the market likes it at 8:30, we can probably get some big pushes. If not, we're going to see some pulling back. So the 200 here is a big area. You have room to make money between the 9 and the 200 if we do decide to push. But as we approach that 200, if we approach the I should say when we approach the 200, really need to keep an eye on that area. Every day that 200 is going to come down a little more. You can see Apple here on the 15. You can see we pushed and then we just chopped around the rest of the day, but had a nice push. Definitely showing relative strength in the market yesterday. Boeing got a nice flag right here back into the 9 on the daily. If we lose the 9, watch for support at the 20. This is the Bitcoin chart, MACD on top, PPO on the bottom, RSI. So we were looking good holding this 200, but now we're struggling with it again. Still getting a questionable, it looks like it wanted to cross for, for a minute, it looked like we were getting ready to get a bearish cross. Then it looked like we were getting ready to get a bullish cross. Right now, we're just trading flat. PPO the same way. Would like to see a cross. I'd like to see Bitcoin go up, but would like to see a cross to get some kind of signal of which way Bitcoin wants to go. Bitcoin had pulled back to the support, and it is up a little bit this morning. But we do have some major moving averages there on the daily that we need to retake. Boeing pulled back yesterday. Some news come in yesterday, and it did push it up a little bit, but it basically just chopped around after the initial pullback. News come in. You can see that green candle right there. Give it a nice push up. It's up in pre-market right now, so that one's worth watching today. Chewy, we took the 200 out, holding the 200 for support. As long as we hold here, this 9, like to see this 9 come up and push us up. MACD's trying to cross, not a very big cross there, but it's trying to give us a signal. CVX yesterday, energy was the place to be. At market open, getting ready, or still looks like this MACD here wants to pinch. So if it was trying to close, it would be nice to see a pinch and see it open back up. Holding the 50, as long as we hold the 50, the 9's coming up on it, we still have a decent chance of pushing up. Crude is down this morning. CBX 15-minute chart, you can see the push, and then we pulled back. So this initial push in pre-market pushing up, that provided some opportunities right there to pull back, or for some put plays right there, showing weakness. GME, it broke out this little pattern here and pushed up, got outside the Bollinger Bands, pulled back. Right now, we tried to dip below it, and it closed holding support. So that's a good sign. 9 and the 20 are turning up on their way up. So we're just at a big spot of indecision with a lot of stocks. Google, this was the unusual flow. We did a video on this, Discord only, with some heavy puts that I found, and I did a video on this. So Monday we actually tried to break out and got snatched back. So Sunday night, put a video out with some bearish flow, expecting Google to go down, and it tried to break out Monday, got snatched back down, and right now it's got, it's pulled right back to the 9 here. It actually took the 9 out, and the 9 held up yesterday, and it pushed it back up. So we're sitting right on top of the 9 now. It's where we closed yesterday. Let's see that, this is a big area. I hate to short anything sitting right on top of the 9. So if we lose the 9, I still think there's some more downside. If this data comes in good today, the whole market's probably going to pop. So I would be really careful with this one until it either gets above this resistance area or it loses this 9 to the downside. Qs, struggling with this 9 here. If we lose the 9, look for this support and the 20. Hopefully this 20 can get up there and get to this, at least to this support level, so we can pull back and at least hold this support. The Qs is one of the only ones that has actually taken out the tech has actually taken out this major resistance level. You can see Qs chopped around mostly yesterday, but there was definitely some short opportunities that open. You could have got some trades in on this. I did trade that once yesterday for a small, and I didn't stay into it very long for a very small win. The bonds, still under this 9, very small spinning top there. Traded very tight yesterday. IWM, this also took out that major resistance level that we've been worried about, and kind of figured it would, because in Sunday's video we talked about how it had closed over this, pushed up yesterday, but we pulled back yesterday. The 9's coming up to it. You can see that it did reach the resistance level and was able to pull back and support level, closed right on top of that support. See what happens today. These CPI numbers are going to be that's going to be the answer to what happens today in the market. You can see IWM, we pulled back, found the bottom down here, traded flat, pushed up right at the end of the day. This, pre-market, it's up a little bit. Mara, this is one that we've been watching. We pushed up and pulled back, and it's been respecting the 9 nicely. We did get a false breakout, pull back. That Iranian news yesterday, I think, is why Bitcoin pulled back. At least that's what we called yesterday in the Discord early in the morning. So that, just that alone helped provide trade opportunities for members. Meta still chopping around down here. We're still under this 50. We got to get above this 50 for Meta to push up, obviously. I don't like Meta here. You're jammed right in between your moving averages. To me, this needs to break out either above or below. I just don't like trading anything wedged in between moving averages like that with no room to make money. You can see we just basically chopped around, and you can see why we chopped around like that. There was other stocks that were, even in a choppy, tough day yesterday, there was other stocks that were tough or better to trade versus Meta. Meta was a very tough one yesterday. Microsoft actually showed some relative strength in the market yesterday. You can see where we pulled back under this 9 and it was able to recover it. But once again, we got to get above this area, and actually Microsoft has been trading a little weaker than overall, a little weaker than a lot of the other stocks. We haven't even made it back to that end of May. Actually, no, we did. This is the area I've been looking at. So we have actually taken the end of May, beginning of June out. The resistance levels I'm looking at now is the beginning of May that we push up that. So that's going to be a big spot. If Microsoft does push, watch this area right here coming off of these candles. Microsoft 15-minute chart, you can see the strength that it had yesterday versus, it wasn't a huge day for it, but versus the rest of the market, it was the rest of tech. It had a very, very nice day. Pulled back at open and then pushed up, pulled back, pushed up. MRO still holding above the support, but we're below the 20 and the 9 there. I'd like to see this get back up to be bullish. MACD's pretty flat right now, but it is turned down, so that's not a great sign. Netflix, I still watching this. I don't like this false breakout that it had and got pulled back. I need to see Netflix get above this resistance area. For me, this is just too flat to trade right now. Under the 9, I don't mind going short. Over this resistance level, I don't mind going long. But right there, it's just trading too tight. NVIDIA on the news, pullback. I do apologize, my phone. So NVIDIA here. Pulled back. We lost a 9, actually lost a 20 yesterday. See if this will hold this 50 for support. Losing a 9 and a 20 is just not a good sign. Oxy was the one yesterday. It ripped it open and also give you a signal here. You can see the candle pattern give you a signal. Broke below the 9. That could have been a short opportunity right there. Oxy daily taking back the moving averages. That's a good sign. Palantir, this is another one. The earnings were horrible. So we've lost the support level, which will now become resistance. We've lost the 50, lost all moving averages. Just not a good sign for a lot of these stocks. You can see the big pullback on earnings, and then yesterday still, they didn't come for it and try to buy it back. They just let it go. Not a fan of Palantir, and I talk about that all the time in the Discord and the reasons why. Obviously, it's really simple. They just, before they listed, all these YouTubers built it up to be the greatest thing in the world when it was a SPAC. I did some research on it, and before they come onto the market, they still could not get a good earnings report. And to me, I thought it was a mismanaged company, that it should have been making money by the, at that time, it's a 20-year-old company that can't make money. Something's going on there, and I think it's in management. But that's just my personal opinion. Either way, I'm not invested into it. I'm just a day trader. Also, plug pulling back here, back under the 200. This 9 comes up. We see if it'll push up. It had earnings as well. A lot of these names are having earnings. Roblex pullback. We called this yesterday in the daily levels. I expected a pullback, and I explained why. Due to just candle patterns. I expected the next 1 to 3 bars to be down. Had a very bad earnings. So we'll see what this does today. But it did pull back big last night. SPX right into this resistance level. This is the level we've been talking about for a couple weeks as we were heading up to it, that this would be the big area to watch. We hit it just like a brick wall, slammed the brakes onto a nice run. We ran for about 2 weeks, and we were talking about this level the whole time. When we need to see what happens when we get here. We hit it, and it was just like a brick wall. Yesterday we did get back below the 9. CRM, this was trying to push, and now it has pulled back. I'm not sure if it had earnings or not, but it's definitely pulled back almost to the 20. Tried to recover some of it, but not. I don't know, just not pretty yesterday at all. But it did provide some short opportunities. You can see the big pullback there and chopping around. I think it did have earnings, but I'm not positive on that one. Snow, I like this chart. We pushed up out of this little base here. Got outside the Bollinger Bands. Pulled back yesterday. Anytime you're outside the Bollinger Bands, you can expect a pullback to get back inside. Back to the 9. Let's see what happens now. Snow can be a tough one to trade because of the spreads on it. Just crazy. SoFi has just been in a downtrend here. We posted some stuff last night. Actually sent it out in the trade alerts about shares. Somebody cutting some shares. You can see we were outside of the Bollinger Bands. This is why it was a bad time to try to buy. And I said, look for 733 before you try to get back into it for a swing type trade. Day trading is different. But this is the reason why I said 733 was because I was looking at the 9 at the time to see where the 9 was and the bottom of this gap. So we pushed up. You were outside of your Bollinger Bands, chopping around. You can't really enter a swing on the outside of your bands. Turn them bands on, guys. They'll be a huge help. So and right now we're on top of 9. Let's see where we go from here. Could be a buy the 9 type strategy. SPY weekly, you can see we have been pulling back this week. SPY, yeah, just took a hit yesterday. You can tell it's a very, very tight, ranging day when you see a small candle like that. We are up this morning. You can see we have pushed up a little bit. I would watch this 200 on the 15 before going long. Today, you can see we've pushed up, and now we're trading flat. Anticipation for the CPI numbers. A lot of stuff's cooled off. If we get good numbers today, we can really push today. Haven't really looked at a lot of different stuff yet, but we can definitely really push if we get the decent numbers and the market likes them. So Square has pulled back here, back under the 9. The report wasn't good either. XLK back under the 9. Tesla in the daily numbers report, or the daily levels video yesterday, I talked about Tesla, how it was for 2 reasons. I was bearish on Tesla, and of course it can always go either way, so we laid out numbers for it to go either way, but I was overall bearish on Tesla for 2 reasons. And we did get the pullback. And now we picked up some news about Mr. Musk selling some stuff yesterday. You can see that it's up here in pre-market. Watch the 200 there for resistance. Twitter. Been grinding. We were watching this area. Finally broke up out of it. Put in another flag. Pushed. Finally got above this 200. Traded flat this week. It is up in pre-market right now. UNG gapped up a little bit here. UNG had a decent push yesterday right into the 200 on the 15. This is why I say check them time frames, guys. Go through and check your time frames. These moving averages we're using will help you out tremendously, but you have to check the time frames to see these levels. We've been expecting the cup, been expecting to pull back for a handle here. So we're still staying just a little above the 50, but we need to retake these moving averages. Now your MACD's trying to roll over. I was hoping to get the pull back and get the handle in before that MACD cross like that. Russia can always play games, and anything can happen there. Upstart, you can see, had a nice push at one point yesterday and got pulled back. Still holding the 9 and 20. Another one, the earnings wasn't that great on. You can see right there, that's the earnings move on it. They tried to buy it back yesterday at open and at pre-market, and it just got wasted to give that whole, almost that whole move back, which would have been a good short opportunity. Wells Fargo trading very, very flat here. And a lot of these banks are doing the same thing. Still holding the 9. Hopefully we can break out of this and push up. We need the banks to be, the banks are strong. That helps the IWM tremendously. You can see XLF here, the financial sector. So we did get this little breakout we were looking for. Just kind of chopping around here, waiting for this 9 to catch up. Waiting to see what this news does today. Has a lot to do with it. ExxonMobil gapped up yesterday, traded right up into resistance. You can see we pushed through this, end up giving it back. And that concludes our video for today. CPI 830. That's the biggest thing to worry about today. Let's see what happens then. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the trading room. Let's make some bread. Let's get that bread.